Hello? Come on, I can see you're in there. Why aren't you coming to the door? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. We're friends, aren't we? I see you. We're friends. You have a picture of me on your wall. You have my book somewhere on your shelf. Hello? Let me modernize this a little. Behold, I stand at the door and ring the video doorbell. Hello? Come on, I know you're in there. I can see the app is lighting up your face. Let me in. Why won't you let me in? All right, fine. I'll just sit here and wait till you're ready to let me in. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. And if anyone hear my voice and open the door and let me in, I will come into him and eat with him and he with me. Many of you know those very familiar words. And yet I think we don't often realize who Jesus is speaking to when he says that. We often think Jesus is speaking to the non-believer, to the world out there, saying, hey, if you'll let me in, I'll come in. And he is. But in the immediate context of those words from Revelation 3, Jesus is actually speaking to Christians, to the church. Well, what does that mean? I mean, if Jesus is already on the inside, what is he doing on the outside? I think Jesus is asking the same question. Exactly. If you call yourself a Christian and you've welcomed me into your heart and your life, what am I doing sitting outside, knocking on the door, wanting back in? My friends, it's an age-old problem that obviously even the first church had. And that we get busy. We become lukewarm and complacent in our faith. We become self-sufficient, believing we've got everything we need and we've got it all covered and we don't really need God, even though we might still call ourselves a Christian. That's exactly what Jesus is talking about. Well, my friends, that is my Lent invitation to you. And more than my invitation, it's Christ's invitation to you. That is your invitation to begin this Lenten journey. And I'm going to unpack that passage a little bit more tomorrow night at our Ash Wednesday service, because that's when Lent begins. So a little bit about Lent. Most of you know, but Lent is 40 days, actually 46 days leading up to Easter, because we don't count Sundays. That's an interesting old tradition. It's not a biblical tradition, but it's a church tradition. I think a very good one. Because it's a time of slowing our roll, humbling ourselves, doing a little introspection, cleaning up some mess, inviting Jesus back into our lives. Do you need that? I think you might. I know I do, even as a pastor. So tomorrow night we will begin with our Ash Wednesday service. That kicks off Lent. Again, a church tradition, not so much a biblical thing, but we put ashes on ourselves to remind ourselves that we're not all that. To remind ourselves that, alas, we are just mortal, flesh and blood, here today, gone tomorrow. From dust we came, to dust we will return. We slow our roll, and we focus on who is truly great, who truly holds the world in his hands, and that's our God. I hope you will come out to join us tomorrow night for our Ash Wednesday service, and there I plan to unpack this revelation message from Jesus, what he has to say to the church. It's very humbling. It's very sobering. Jesus isn't just sitting out here going, hey, whenever you're ready, let me in, no big deal. It's a stern warning, saying, you know what, you invited me in and now you've pushed me out, and I'm telling you, it's very important you let me back in so I can finish the work I started in you. I'm committed to you, Jesus says. I want you to be committed to me. One of the things many people do during Lent is fast. They give something up. And the heart of fasting is simply to make some space in your heart, in your life, in your mind for Jesus, to open up that door, to let him in. Traditionally, it's been giving up food, but that's just because for most of the history of the world, food has been that kind of number one indulgence and enticement. We live in a world of enticements and distractions. We've got our phones and constant media feeds and social media. We've got television. We've got the news. We've got all of our activities and all of the things that we enjoy so much. We've got shopping and all the things we can buy and places we can go. We're a very busy, very distracted, very scattered people. So during Lent, slow your roll. Put some of that stuff down, make some space, open the door so that Jesus can come in and do some work in your life. For many of you, though, not for all of you, but for most of you, I would say, the biggest call and challenge of that is come to church. Your church community, where you are a part of, where you hear the word, where you worship, is probably the most significant place where you will grow in your faith. For some of you, that's not going to be possible. Some of you don't have a church right now. There's other reasons. That's okay. There's other ways to do it. You can listen to good Christian media, read good Christian books, make time in your life for prayer, make time in your life for personal worship. There's lots of things you can do to put down some of the worldly stuff, to push it away. Not all of it's bad, but it sure does crowd out Jesus. It sure does push him out and let him in just a little bit more. We are thrilled this year at First Congregational Church and First Baptist to be continuing with our Lenten series. So we had to cut it short in 2020 and we had to cancel it in 2021, but this year we're back. And we're using a curriculum by Pastor Judah Smith called How's Your Soul? And it's perfect for just this. Looking inside and saying, what's going on inside? Because as Jesus says, from out of our hearts, our mouths speak. From out of our hearts, we do what we do, and we say what we say, and we think what we think. It's so important to let Jesus inside to do some soul work in us. That's exactly what we're going to do. So if you are able, I challenge you to consider coming out on Wednesday nights to join us for supper and fellowship and worship and this wonderful curriculum. And so that's the good word this week. It's short, but it's powerful. That's Jesus' invitation to you to begin a journey, to make some room, to open the door, to let him in. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. And if anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him, and I will eat with him, and he with me. You can come in. The door is open. Hey, welcome. Sorry, kind of a mess. Are you watching this? This is one of the top shows on Netflix this week. No? Okay, of course you're not watching this. Sorry, I'm sorry. This is such a mess. Here, come on in. Sit down. Bible here. Do you watch The Chosen? I'm sorry the place is such a mess. I've been really, really busy. Oh, come on in. Sit down. You know what? I don't have any food. Oh, you brought food? All right, come on in. I guess we got some work to do.